Hi, welcome to a short presentation about training to be a science teacher with Sussex University. My name is Branagh and I'm the lead science tutor here at Sussex for science education. And I just wanted to give a little heads up before I start the presentation. Obviously we're not in normal times, we're in the middle of a global pandemic. Our trainees are out in schools right now doing some unbelievably sterling work to continue to train, because we still need teachers, awesome key workers at the moment during the pandemic. It does mean that obviously I'm not in my office, I am in my home and haven't been to the hairdresser for a wee while, as you can see by my hair. So apologies for it maybe not looking as professional as I would normally like it to be. But it does give you an inkling into what our course is like, and I hope that by the end of this presentation you'll see what we're like at Sussex for science education and how distinctive we are. And I haven't held back with the pictures. These are real pictures from our course. So I'm the lead tutor. Again, my name is Branagh, short for Fiona. I work very closely with Pat Doe, who is the gent there on the side there with the really quite awesome hat that he made in Forest School last year. We haven't managed to do Forest School this year, but we will do by the end of the year. We've got our own beautiful set of woods on campus that we can do all kinds of Forest School work normally. So we're basically the team. Pat runs the subject knowledge enhancement courses that we have here at Sussex. We're finding out more about those in January. So if you thought you needed a long enhancement course, you might want to wait to apply until after we have more news from the government in January, because currently we're not able to give you an answer for lots of cases. We work very closely with our technicians, Paula and Joe. I haven't got a picture of them, sadly, sorry about that. But we work with them and we're in the labs every day on Fridays. Even during the pandemic right now, we are still doing our labs on Friday under very strict COVID restrictions, but we're still very much lab-based because that's what science is all about. So what I'm going to cover in this very brief presentation, because everybody's busy, is what's it like to be a secondary science school teacher, what to expect on our course. I mean, that's why you're watching this, you're interested in applying to Sussex, what makes us distinctive, a lot it turns out, what kind of subject knowledge do you need a lot, and how you can prepare for the course and the interview. I'm going to pause there. And then there will be a chance for you to email me with any questions that you've got afterwards. Okay, so what's it like to be a science teacher? I've written on there, it is amazing. Of course it is. It is the best subject to teach. Everybody would believe that about their subjects, I would hope. So you've got to be prepared. So where science is quite different to many other specialisms, such as geography or English, we have to teach across all of our specialisms. So you have to teach biology, chemistry and physics, regardless of what your particular specialism is, across all of the age ranges, not post 16 though. So key stage 3 and key stage 4, there is an expectation that you need to be able to do biochem phys across all of those age ranges. We sometimes can give you A-level experience, in fact quite often, if that's what you wanted. More and more though, sadly, across the partnership, across the country, little sixth form provision in schools are closing. It was very difficult for them to keep going, and now it's very much more that it's within a college environment that you would be doing sixth form. We have a few schools that go 11 to 18. They're much more on the Hove side of Brighton and Hove than on the other side, but they do exist. You have to do practical science. You have to be interested in practical science, because you need to do an awful lot of it. Okay, if you're not interested in practical science, then this wouldn't be the course for you. You need to have excellent subject knowledge. Now we do acknowledge that we're all coming in with some kind of subject knowledge gaps. I'm a zoologist, but I have science A-levels. So what we look at is the whole package. So your GCSEs, your A-levels, which are really important for us in teaching science, as well as your degree content as well. So we do need an awful lot of subject knowledge in there. It's very difficult to teach science if you've got massive gaps, because we teach across all three specialisms. So the amount of curriculum we cover is enormous. We also need you to be imaginative though, and highly resourceful. So just having phenomenal subject knowledge in one narrow arena is isn't what we're looking for. We're looking for broad skills as well as subject knowledge. And that's why this bit's here about we need to be able to use a wide range of pedagogy. So we encourage all our teachers to use modelling, analogies, drama. You can see there we've got wonderful Patsy. And this was on our sharing day, sharing good practice day a few years ago now. But I just love this picture where she's got this model picture of the lung on a bin bag. It's fantastic, very resourceful, great use of modelling techniques there. So what shall you expect on our course? Now, it is obviously lots of work. There's nobody out there that come out of the PGCE and say, oh yeah, that was a breeze. It's not. It is hard work. But if you enjoy being with young people, in the age range that we teach, and you enjoy your subject, sometimes hard work doesn't feel like hard work. You should come into teaching because this is what you want to do. It's a vocation. We all do long hours, but there's this fantastic intersection between, well, that's work and that's my normal life. We believe that happiness is in the middle of that, where the work that you do is very enjoyable, and therefore you crack on with it. You don't see it as a burden. But we do give you a huge amount of support to go with this hard work. You're never left alone. So this is the kind of thing you can expect on our course. It should be fun. If we do it right, it should be fun. If you come in for the right reasons, it should be fun. If you're coming in for the wrong reasons, I won't outline what all of them are now, it won't be fun. It won't be worth it for you. You've got to love being with teenagers and children. If you don't, this is not fun, okay? You've got to love being in the company of kids and enjoying that energy that comes with being with children. Now, this is our cohort from last year. Because we weren't able to go to the Booth Museum in this current cohort, we will by the end of the course though. And every year we go to the Booth Museum in Hove. It's fantastic, absolutely. For a biologist, zoologist, it's amazing going there. It's absolutely wonderful. And we have this lovely day where we do drawing in the booth. You see how excited everybody is to start the course. It's fantastic. So what is it like? So that's what it's like going to the Booth Museum. Now, this is what our course looks like. So we've got Grania here, who, again, this was in our sharing day. It's obviously one of the days I use my camera phone a lot more than others. And we're sharing our stuff from that we've done so far. That's normally in December. Now, it is a perfect blend of practical, so we're always, we spend half our time in the laboratory. That's the lab that Grania's there holding up that poster. And then the other half is pedagogy, which is how we teach. So that's how we split our Fridays up. And I'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. And here's Lily and Rashad guiding each other through one of our many Forest School experiences. So Forest School sharing day, this is an example of a bunch of lab experiments that we're doing. We've got some respiration experiments going on there. And then somebody worked out that you could do this brilliant thing with the balloon where you held it up with a hairdryer. So we're using the hairdryers to do transpiration. And we do as much field work as we can. We are science teachers. The natural world is all around us, and we should be using that in our teaching as much as possible. And here we've got some trainees from a couple of years ago looking into some rock pools down by the marina. It was a wonderful day. So how does the course work? There's normally 3 weeks of induction in September where it's really quite intense. We bring you in every single day normally. The odd sort of directed study day was very different this year, obviously, but we were still on campus quite a lot. We guide you in lesson planning, but it's mostly in science confidence. So we do plenty of practicals. We do lots of stuff about health and safety in those first few weeks. You then go off into school, and we choose the schools very carefully. We have an enormous array of marvellous partner schools that we work with, that we know very well, full of our alumni, so we do know them extremely well. Many mentors in our partnership have been trained by us, so we've got this awesome connection with schools around us. And then it's back at uni every single Friday, which is a wonderful model. It really is. It means that Thursday evening is a nicer time at home, and it can be quite intense doing this course, so that's nice. But every Friday you're with your awesome new colleagues, talking science all day, doing the labs at some point during that day too. That goes all the way until February half term, so around about sort of 15th of February, then you get a week off. And then our second placement is more intensely based in school, with about 4 or 5 days back at uni during that period, because you need to know what it's like to be in school 5 days a week. Your tutor is with you every step of the way. So our method at Sussex is that you have your own tutor. We form these sort of family groups, these tutor groups, with a tutor as the lead of it. So Pat's the lead of one, I'm the lead of the other, and we're your contact through the whole year. So you can call us, you email us. We're very closely connected with our tutor groups. And there's just a little quote there about keeping the Fridays in place. They are a distinctive part of training at Sussex. They're a really lovely part of training at Sussex. Excuse me. It's a special day, Fridays. So we try to make it as interactive and engaging as we can, because what we're trying to do all the time is model what we want your teaching to look like when we come and see you in the classroom, and what best practice is. So Pat's an ex-head of department, and he was a very successful head of department for a long time. I'm an ex-advanced skills teacher, and professional tutor. So between us in the team, we've covered a lot of the roles that you will see when you go into school anyway. So our half days, and at the moment we've got everybody in smaller groups, so we're teaching twice. It might be different by the time that you come to us. So we have workshop based sessions. So last Friday we did a whole session about creativity. The week before we did about questioning, and then in the afternoon we have the lab time, and you can see Pippa there. We're doing Hooke's Law by the looks of it. That looks like my physics session, where we've got strawberry bootlaces to test to see if they obey Hooke's Law or not. And again, there's some nice quotes for you to look at about how practical our course is. Is it all hard work? No, of course not. The whole point of being in a cohort is that you're not just focusing on your tutor, and you're not just focusing on school. You've got this large group of people all around you that form your support network, and best friends are made in this cohort. I was with some trainees at the weekend. We had a little Zoom chat on Saturday, just talking to them about how things are in school. So our relationship with you goes way beyond the course itself. There's a lovely, we do this enrichment week at the end of the course, and it was a big walk, this one. Big walk all the way to Seven Sisters Park, not from Hove. We did it from Seaford Head, where we're having a nice little break there during our very large walk. And enrichment week is marvellous. It's a real chance for celebration at the end of a hard year. Fridays are great because then you meet on a Friday, you haven't got school the next day, you can socialise after, and there's some very nice campus bars to go to. So again, what makes us distinctive, I've talked about the tutor group model. It is important. We're the people that you'll communicate with us every week. We're the ones that come to observe you in school. We're the ones that mark your assessments and guide you through. So you've got this one solid person that's connected with you all the way through. It is a very creative course. Pat and I do like to mix things up a bit. So there we've got our Christmas practicals, which in this particular year group I think went on for quite a long time. There's quite a few weeks of Christmas based practicals, because we start with you early on the Christmas based stuff so that you can then put them into your lessons. Okay, lots of practical work. So we put these science practicals in so that then you can integrate them into your teaching in time for Christmas. If we did it too late for Christmas, you wouldn't have a chance to do it. And as you've seen already from the pictures, there's lots of practical and outdoor learning. Support is very important on a teacher training course, extremely important. And we do pride ourselves on the level that we are able to give you. We are, as all the different ITE courses here at Sussex, we're bespoke. So we're not done on a big admin machine. It's done by us. Your tutor is your main contact. So the likelihood is you're watching this and you will have already contacted me. I'll be the one that will connect with you at interview. It's very much a very personal and human way to do an ITE course. It's designed for you to spend as much time with your new colleagues as possible, face to face. I know that's a phrase that we're all using quite a lot right now. I'm just going to say apologies if you can hear something in the background. The council in their wisdom have decided to dig up my pavement while I'm doing this, so I do apologise if you can hear this sort of odd hum. So I've talked about the tutor groups. There's some quotes there for you to have a look at. I do believe that enthusiasm, sorry, flicking through there, is something that we have in abundance. So what we do on Friday is to G you up for the week, full of dynamic delivery, full of you working in groups, working in pairs, and then taking all those ideas with you into your teaching from the Monday onwards. We have lots of review points during the year where, I mean, currently it's great, we're doing them over Zoom, and I think some of those practices will carry on with into next year because it saves the travel. It's marvellous. And we have lots of uses for technology where each week you upload things for us to have a look at, you communicate with us through this thing called a tracker, which is it's a marvellous tool where you tell us how your week has been and then we feed back to you, but we're always available, really important. And there's a quote from our wonderful Alice, who's here in the reindeer, it's called reindeer jumper, saying how grateful she is about the support that she's got from us. I do really believe we go above and beyond. It's a bit of an odd thing to say about your own course, but we do go above and beyond. And if you were unsure about what it's like at Sussex and you were trying to make a decision, we can always put you in touch with some alumni. The weird thing at the moment is you're not able necessarily to go into school and chat to our alumni who are out there in schools. So 3 of the people there around that picture are in a local school called Backer, one of them's at Dorothy Stringer, 2 are at Blatch, and 1 is at Millay. So they are there for you to discuss. If you wanted to email them, I'm sure they wouldn't mind. But that's normally what you'd be able to do, is go into school and talk to current teachers about what course is best. I mean, it's a shame that's missing. It's a real shame. So what do I need to get on the course? Okay, so we only take people with a science degree related to the course you're applying to. And I'm going to be honest, we're pretty strict. So if you are applying for biology, which has the lower bursary currently, you would need a biology related degree and science related A-levels, okay, or a really good access course. Just because, let me be really clear here, just because something says BSc does not mean it's the kind of science degree that we are willing to take. You must have in-depth science knowledge that relates to the curriculum. You must have. I'm going to be honest, it's a huge ask, what is asked of science trainees in just the 9 months that it takes to train. It's all 3 specialisms, and you really should look at the national curriculum before you apply to us. It's really important. It's big, it's thick, there's loads in it, and some of it is at quite a high level. Particularly look at the triple, look at the stuff that you're expected to do at year 11 top set triple, and realise how short amount of time we've got to do that in. In the past we had longer enhancement courses, but we still, the enhancement courses are there to enhance, not to replace subject knowledge that should already exist. It is truly advantageous to have science A-levels. The magic is obviously biology, chemistry, physics and maths. It's a dream if you've got those, but if you've got some of those, it just really is a massive help. If you've got a degree and no science A-levels, you know, say you've got a biology degree but no science A-levels, you will struggle. And if we don't get an enhancement course, you have to realise that there'll be a lot of private study to do. Our webpage does have a lot of information on there too. Now, along with the science degree, which is essential, can't get in without it, you must be passionate about science, and that's one of the reasons that the science degree is so important. People that choose science degrees are passionate about science. They liked it enough to do the A-levels, which are really challenging, and they liked it enough to take it forward to a degree. And those are the people that really should be teaching our kids science. Just an interest in popular science is not enough to be a science teacher. It just isn't. So passionate about science, passionate about the world around us. I interviewed somebody the other day that taught me something about the way that whales sleep. And I looked at these beautiful image of sperm whales, almost upright like that, sleeping in the ocean. That's what we want in our lessons. People who think beyond the curriculum and are drawing children into science, but we need it with the science degree as well. Okay, so if you've got the right science degree and you've got the background of A-levels or access course, What about the interview? So you're called for interview, you've got through to that stage, and it is quite challenging to get to the interview stage, okay? So maybe if you're watching this and you're not sure if you'd meet our entry requirements, do get in touch with me before you pop us on a UCAS form, just in case. I don't want you wasting your time, okay? So get in touch with me. I'm very happy to take your emails about our recruitment and our entry requirements. It's no bother to me at all, and I'd rather you did that, actually. It's better. So what about the interview? So for this particular year, in our COVID year, it's going to be me. For the vast majority of interviews, it's going to be me interviewing you. I pretty much always I look at the applications very quickly, I make decisions, I link with all the school direct schools if you're applying for school direct. We discuss whether you meet the entry requirements, and then I will email you. It'll come from me to say whether we're going forward to the interview stage, and then you can ask me questions afterwards. So we ask you to design a lesson for a Year 7 class, and the invite letter explains all of that. We're looking for both subject knowledge and creativity. That creativity word's coming up again. Originality is good too. And you get a chance to talk to me. Remember what I've said is not everybody gets through to the interview stage, so there's a lot of rigour that's already gone into you coming to interview, so it's already going well if you've been called for interview. And it's a chance for you to ask me questions, as well as obviously for me to ask you questions about why you want to be a teacher. You've got to demonstrate that you want to work with teenagers. It's absolutely essential. More important in loads of ways than our subject knowledge. Our subject knowledge in isolation isn't much use to kids. You know, you have to be able to want to work with teenagers. So the Zoom interviews will take place from exactly where I am here, so in the kitchen of my house. And I will desperately try to make it as relaxed as possible. I will. And I will give you guidance about where I think you might have gaps and what you need to work on during that interview too. It's a dialogue. It is a proper dialogue between you and me, okay? Now, the other thing that you should be aware of is we have a particular group of partner schools. Now, you have to be able to work in one of those. So if at the end of the interview, I'm thinking, I don't know where I'd place you, that might be a reason that you don't get through onto the course. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to make a good science teacher, but I can't imagine where to place you. And if I'm trying to, we need to have as broad an appeal as possible as a teacher, because if I can't imagine where to place you, then maybe it might be a bit of a struggle for you to get a job too. So I do need people that can work within an array of schools, that are adaptable to work in an array of schools. So do be mindful of that too. So what's it like after I train? So this is a picture of our graduation. The other year we weren't allowed a graduation last year, so this is the one before. We stay in touch with our alumni way beyond our course. We've got people who are now working as heads of science in different departments. They've gone on to do other things, but vast majority are still, thankfully, in teaching. So this is it's a career-long decision. It's not just a decision to make about, oh yeah, that seems quite easy to go to that university. That's convenient for me travel-wise. You need to think about the long term for this decision that you're making about where you decide to train to be a teacher, because we'll be with you for a long time. So the fit has to be right, okay? So do be mindful of that when you're applying to different institutions. Okay, thank you for listening to my presentation. I've tried to be as relaxed as possible and let you know what I'm like, really. We've got no choice really at the moment, have we, in the current situation? So please do email me if you have any queries. This is a very old picture, isn't it? Look at me with very dark hair. It went very grey, hence I had to colour it. So this is myself and Pat a long time ago, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, at one of our sharing good practice days, where again, we tend to take more pictures than any other. I need to take more pictures of normal days, don't I? So we are a friendly bunch. We really are. At Sussex, we want you to contact us. We don't want you to go through our administrators necessarily. We'd like you to get straight in touch with us. That's our job. Excuse me. There's my email. That's the phone number. No point ringing that right now because we're not in the office. Okay, so email is the best way to get hold of me. And if you have anything related to subject knowledge enhancement, you might want to write to Pat, but copy me in because it's obviously to do with recruitment as well. So thank you very much for listening. I do really appreciate it. Thank you for bearing with the hair at the moment. And do get in touch with me if you have any questions. We have plenty of recruitment events. And feel free to come along to those, but you can also just email me whenever you want with any queries at all. Okay, all the best and good luck with your application. Take care. Bye.